Hey everyone, DarkDragoon here with episode 16 of my FTB Modpack Let's Play. You can see we're just sort of getting started here today, and we appear to be in some kind of gigantic cave. And as you can see, we're in a Mistcraft age. In particular, this cave world is also a sky biome, and there's a reason for that. This time, obviously we didn't make the mistake of making it a void age. Pretty much we're hunting Endermen because we need Ender Pearls because of a small problem that I noticed in our railcraft system in our quarry age. Appears to be outside of the chunk loading boundary of our quarry. So yeah, so we're going to need some Ender Pearls to remedy that situation. So I'm just probably going to hunt around here for a little bit, and hopefully it won't take me too long, but when I get back we'll get back to work on our system we were working on last episode, so I'll be back. Alright, so we're back. You can see we got ourselves just a couple Ender Pearls. We don't need too many. There we go. I'm just making myself a world anchor, because yeah, I think that'll solve our problem. I would have preferred to make anchor sentinels, but they're not actually going to work for what we want to do. To make them work, you actually have to have a world anchor. They're better if you have like a long stretch of track that you want to keep loaded, but not if you want to just keep a little area loaded. Let's see, let's get rid of some of this stuff we've got in our... We don't really need this. Some of this is not what we wanted. There we go. And the coal we can go ahead and throw over here because that's where it goes. So let's pop over into our Mistcraft age, our quarry age here. You can see I definitely added another cart to the system, and they're set up in such a way that they should be, as this one is leaving, the other one should appear. So like I said, the only problem we're having is that the chunks aren't loaded, which we can fix with this. There we go. That should keep this entire area loaded. Like I said, we were having some issues with the quarry. Like, I thought that would actually load out this area over here, but we might have hit pretty close to a chunk boundary. Well, doesn't really look like it at all. I don't know. Not really sure what's going on or how the quarry exactly keeps chunks loaded. It might just keep the chunks loaded that it occupies, but I would have thought that it meant the whole chunk. I don't know. So anyway, this is going to work, and it should keep all of this loaded, so it shouldn't be a problem anymore. So just to make sure, we actually might... Yeah, there we go. There's our... I don't know why it didn't move, but there it is. I was a little worried that our area back home where we have these things going wasn't going to stay loaded, but it looks like that's not going to be a problem since our tank cart appeared. You guys can see it is definitely unloading, and our steam engine's running at a pretty good speed. It's still, the steam isn't actually going through this wooden pipe very fast, and I don't really know why. I know that it can only go so fast through wooden pipes, but I mean, I don't know. Using a Buildcraft tank here may not be ideal. We might be better off with just with our actual railcraft iron tank with a golden pipe coming out of it. I don't know. We'll see. Now, yeah, I think we might have chunks unloading back home. So, or it's just going really slow. This has been really sort of wonky. Sometimes this pipe gets full and it fills really fast, and sometimes it empties, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think what I'll do is I'll make another world anchor just to be on the safe side. I'll make it here, and hopefully that'll do the trick of keeping all of this stuff working properly. So yeah, why don't I do that off camera, and then we can get downstairs and get back to working on our sorting system. So I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and you guys can see I obviously decided to get rid of our Buildcraft tank here and replace it with a railcraft tank. This thing's just gonna hold more, and I think it's just gonna work better. So yeah, it should be pretty good. obviously I think I'm going to need a little more of these iron tank walls. We don't really need this thing to be too big. Let's see here. Should hopefully have enough of these iron plates to get this thing finished. I think that'll do. Let's see. Yeah, 2 high should do it. We can build ourselves a little dirt ladder here. And finish it up. It should start filling. Okay. And okay. And yes, it is filling. Cool. So now all we need to do is, you can see I moved my commercial steam engine here underneath our output chest for our quarry. I'm just going to run some golden piping from this valve into that, and hopefully running golden pipe will be better than the wood pipe. I know the golden pipe, I believe, can move 40 steam per tick, as opposed to the wooden pipe's 10. So I'm hoping that that difference will be what we need to make this whole thing work. Now, I believe that should be flipped. I'm not actually sure which way that should be flipped. Let's go ahead and jump back. I'll grab some golden pipes, and that should be working again. Like I said, the Buildcraft tank just was not cutting it, so that's not where that goes. I'll just throw this stuff in here. Might as well keep those iron plates. We'll never know when we need them. There's our golden waterproof pipes. Let's put our wooden one in there. I don't remember if we're still going to need to pump out of the tank. So let's bring that with us just in case. I kind of think that maybe no, but always better to make sure, right? We did do it on the other tank, so yeah, we're still going to need it. Which ultimately may be just a problem we have to deal with. Because if it moves out of the tank as slow as it was moving out of our other tank, then we're going to have a small issue. But let's just put that there. It should start pumping. Really wish we had additional pipes, because then we can maybe try to use the valve pipe, which is a really neat pipe. But okay, it looks like that's gonna work. It's filling pretty quick. If we can get it to fill past this middle line, I think we'll be pretty good. See, it doesn't ever want to go any faster than that. It doesn't ever want to fill any more than that. I don't know if that's an issue with the commercial steam engine or what. But yeah, it never wants to. It never seems to want to get past about the 3800 mark, no matter what we do. Oh well, we can still keep this here, and that we should be able to make sure that the steam stays pretty full. Okay, so as I said, I'm gonna step away from this and move back over to our dealing with some of our sorting systems. So let me get rid of some things that I'm not going to need, and I'll meet you guys back downstairs where we're working on our sorting system. Alright, so I am back. You guys can see we are downstairs with our sorting system. I've been sort of looking around at sort of my setup over there, and I have one more thing I want to add to sort of what we've already got going, and that is going to be gravel. That way any gravel that comes through will enter this pipe and go down the black path, which we'll also want to set it to here, red and blue. That way it'll go through the intersection and into this system. Now, what I want to do here is I might need to move this diamond pipe over one and reposition this, because what I want to do is I want to run a I want to say this stuff is cobblestone. Yeah. That way that's not connecting. And we can basically run a line for gravel into this pulverizer, which will give us flint. And there actually is another cool thing I'll point out here in a second once I get this diamond pipe set up. Okay, so gravel is going down into this pulverizer. Now, the cool thing about the way this is set up and the way the pulverizer works is when you grind up cobblestone, you're definitely going to get sand, but you might get some gravel. And so the way we have it set up is gravel is going to go here in the yellow slot, which is set to depart on the right side of this pulverizer, which means the gravel that is produced from grinding our cobble will get ground down into flint, in addition to actually pulling any gravel that we're digging up into this pulverizer, which is, again, grinding up gravel into flint. So, and we have it set up so it's not going to go into our sawmill. Cool. So basically, we have that all figured out. We have pretty much all of our ores sorted. The only thing, like I said, we're missing is an example of gold ore, so we can put it here in the yellow path, but that's okay. And we're getting a ton of dirt, and obviously we have to figure out what to do with a bunch of this other stuff that doesn't really have a place to go. A lot of that will probably be shipped directly into wherever we're going to set up our chests that are going to hold everything. It's probably going to be over on that side of the room. I don't know. This diamond pipe is getting pretty heavily used up, so pretty much everything else is probably going to have to go down the green path, which pretty much as it's set up, if it doesn't know where else to go, it's going to go down green. So we probably want to leave green to be open, and then we can set other diamond pipes somewhere else to sort further. So let's take a look here. Now we also need something to do with all this dirt, and I was thinking in sort of preparation of getting a actual tree farm going. I've already made some of this. It's some of the compost using some ash from our peat fired engines and some dirt. Unfortunately, it doesn't use a ton of dirt, but it does require dirt to combine compost. Now, where did I put it? Here it is. Compost. If you combine compost and dirt, you get humus, which is what pretty much the tree farms need instead of the like the bog earth for the peat bogs. So yeah, kind of trying to think here. Probably going to set that up. So let's go ahead and make ourselves another one of these auto crafting tables, because that's where realistically we're going to have to start first. So we're just going to get ourselves some sticks. Should be enough. As I completely fail at clicking. Come on. There we go. And then a crafting table will give us an auto crafting table. Now, what I'm thinking is using the system we already have that's obviously it's got a chest that's getting full of dirt. Is setting that up down here. And it's still not really going to probably help us with the dirt problem we're getting from our quarry, but at least it'll start clearing this stuff out. So let's just put that there, and I believe it looks something like this. Yeah, that'll give us humus. So basically we now have a way to use this, so now we just need to find a way to get compost into this chest. Now that could probably be done, again, we definitely still have one thing to do with our peat bogs, which is getting peat automatically supplied into our peat fired engines, and if we can do that at the same time, we can automatically get ash out of those peat fired engines so we can make compost. So I think that's what's going to go on down here, and we're pretty much set up to do that, but I think that's going to have to come a little bit later once we've finished getting our stuff figured out over here. The main problem is obviously we're getting a lot of junk stuff that there's not a whole lot to do with, and unfortunately we're not really in the position to get recyclers going. So, yeah. Okay, so let me take a minute to figure out sort of what our next step is here. It's probably going to involve a barrel, and actually, you know what? We can go ahead and do that right now. Definitely need a barrel because we're just getting so much dirt that we really can't do anything with it. So we might as well put it in. Oh wait, it's just one in the center. There we go, barrel. I don't actually know if I've shown you guys the barrel yet as far as how it's made, but there you go. And we can pretty much, let's see. Give me a second to figure out how I want to set this up, and I'll be back. Alright, I think I've got it figured out here. If I recall, cannot remember. I want to say this is stone piping. We're about to find out. Come on. Yes, it is stone piping. So yeah, let's just run this pipe along the ceiling here. To jump a little to get it. We might be able to, there we go. Might be able to target the side of these blocks. Okay. And so we'll just run it right into the barrel. And just to get the barrel started, we'll throw a stack of dirt in there. Boom. Dirt. Cool. So, we can remove this set of piping. Obviously you guys can see there's a lot of dirt in here. And I'll just get this dealt with. That way it has somewhere to go. Looks like I have to check on our quarry, make sure it's, or rather the cart that's coming from our quarry. That's the more important part. Okay, so we got the dirt dealt with for now. Obviously, this barrel is going to overflow very quickly. At the rate we were getting dirt, but hopefully that'll be able to do what we need it to from now. So let me hop over into our quarry age real quick, just make sure everything's running okay there, and I'll be back. Hopefully we can get some more of that stuff figured out which way it's going, and I'll be back. Alright, so I made a small change to the system that I wanted to show you guys. Basically what I did was I put a chest underneath our unloader. That way basically there's a little bit of a buffer, because I noticed that our cart was occasionally having some problems where the buffer in the unloader would fill up and then it wouldn't obviously be able to drop off anything new, so it would just start going. This way it'll always drop off its stuff, and obviously this redstone engine will hopefully be able to pump everything out of this chest and into our system. And as you can see, our sorting is definitely working so far. Right now, all we really have left to figure out what to do with is this stuff in here. And like I said, a lot of this, let's get to thinking about where this stuff is going to go and how exactly we're going to sort it. I think what's going to happen is we're going to need to find a good spot where we can run some piping without it being completely ridiculous. And I think we might be looking at something like right across here, this line here, as this should bring us right over to these chests. So yeah, so let's go ahead and run that now. I think we're going to want to use, because I'm pretty sure this is stone, so I think we're going to want to use cobblestone piping. We'll find out pretty quick if this doesn't work. Obviously we have to kind of be creative about how we're running some things, but okay, yeah, so can this be, I think it's going to be okay if we ran into, I definitely kind of want to use cobblestone piping since we have more of that. So yeah, let's just run this basically across our ceiling here. We'll have to do a little bit of jumping here. Oh, it's not where I wanted to put that. There we go. There we go. This isn't the most ideal system for this, but and there's definitely a lot of sort of finagling we have to do to get it to work, but I think it's gonna at least do what we need it to do for the time being. Okay, so pretty much here's the point where we have to figure out what's going where, and to do that I have to remember where everything is. I want to say this chest here, let me just go upstairs and check it, is probably where certain ores are at the moment. Yeah. This is also where things like our lapis is. So why don't we keep running it to here? Let's see, we have flint in here, we have lapis, we have uranium. So yeah, let's basically send all these like gems and random bits like uranium here. We'll send that out into this chest right here, this normal chest. Obviously we can upgrade it later, and I'm going to pull the ores out of it. Obviously they're probably going to get run through this system at some point, but the important part here is we grab one of our diamond pipes, and we might as well split it right along here, and then let's make sure we grab at least one of everything. We need a lapis, might as well keep the redstone in there. Obviously we're gonna move where we're currently keeping our redstone. It means also coal is probably going to go this way, even though we don't have any here. We might have some upstairs. Hopefully this one diamond pipe will be able to handle all of this stuff going down one direction. So let's go ahead. Okay. And there we go. So for green, we're going to have flint, uranium, our iridium, our ruby, our lapis, our glowstone, our redstone. Yeah, we're probably going to start having some issues with how many things we're sending some way. But if we do, we can always readjust and, you know, figure out a way around it. Basically just readjust our diamond pipes and how things are sorting. I'm being attacked by what appears to be a spider who died for his troubles. Just make sure that I actually picked my coal up. Okay, we'll just toss this into the diamond pipe. There we go. That stuff is all in the wrong spot. It needs to be up one. Not going to get a lot of iridium ore. We can definitely set up a sort of default route as well, but I mostly just want to make sure that we have it, sort of everything accounted for now at least. So still need a place for this bauxite ore and crystals. Why don't we send the bauxite down into this chest as well? There we go. So that'll pretty much fill up our green path. So let's try to figure out where exactly we want to send these crystals. I'm thinking into the building materials chest. In the meantime, I'm just gonna drop this stuff all in here. Also gonna need a place for diamonds to go. Now that's a little bit of a problem. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to split that stuff up a little more. First I want to figure out where exactly which chest is our construction materials. I want to say it's the iron one right next door. So yeah, so that should work. Let's see, grab our, this time we want to run probably cobblestone pipes, that way they don't attach to the pipes next to them. It's starting to get a little difficult to get up there, so let me, there we go. Okay, and like I said, it should not attach over there, so that's cool. And we'll just go ahead and put, this is white. Boom. Pretty much anything else, if we come across anything else that needs to go into this chest, we can, like I said, we can add it. But right now I want to take a look at some of this stuff, and there's a good chance maybe we don't want redstone and glowstone to go into this pipe, or coal for that matter. Yeah, that stuff's going to go a different route. Mostly because we usually have enough of that. We usually have quite a bit of that. So I'm thinking it's probably about time for a whole nother chest for that. Let's see, that's our... Okay, this is a wood chest. So... You know, we're really starting to not use this for what we were using it for. So... Let's make this right here our chest for our redstone and our glowstone and our coal. So let's go with stone pipe. Actually, yeah, stone pipe, and we'll just run it right up there. And then down our yellow path can be, where did stuff go? Did I already, I think I already put it somewhere else. Okay. Did I put it back over here? Yeah. So redstone, glowstone. I don't think we had a place for. Wait, no, we did send flint down that path. Okay. So yeah, so our yellow path is going to be for coal, and redstone, and glowstone. And again, anything else we want to send to that chest, we can set that up. So, as is, it looks like we've got most everything that we're gonna get out of this system with a place to go, and I kind of want to test it. Let's just put that in there and that there. Unfortunately, the only way to really test it would be to force our chest cart. Basically put a bunch of stuff in our chest cart and then force it to go. So I'm going to hop over here and take a look. That is not what I meant to do. Unfortunately, we can't open this chest because of how we set it up. Obviously, we could, I guess, put the chest like up here in this hole. Might be something I consider doing, just so we can check on how full it is. But yeah, let me get over there. Let me check to see what's going on, and I'll be back once I've figured out, and once I'm ready to test it. So I'll be back. Alright, so I've just been sort of watching this for a minute, and obviously it was clearing out a lot of the dirt, but now you can see that some other things are coming out of the line. Obviously with the wooden pipe, it's going to pull out one item at a time. Hopefully when we get red power, we can just basically replace this whole system with red power tubing, and that should work a lot better for what we're doing, as that'll pull out stacks at a time with how we can set that up. But obviously the goal here is sort of to figure out where it's all going. You can see pretty much if it's not accounted for in this pipe, it is definitely going down the green path, which is what we want it to do. And it's a little slow at the moment, but that'll be fixed down the line just a little bit. Like I said, I pretty much just want to make sure that the system is working, and the fact that it moves slow right now is kind of helpful to us because we can sort of watch it working. It's a little easier to keep track of than if we had a bunch of gold pipes zipping things through the lines. So we got some redstone on its way. That should properly sort. Yeah. So this coal should go down yellow, but the diamond should go down green. Coal goes yellow, diamonds go green. Cool. So this seems to be working at least well enough. Just making sure that this isn't, because it just picks them up, so I think there's some kind of clogging going on there. We'll have to watch that pretty carefully. But yeah, okay, so this does appear to be working. What do we got coming through at the moment? Glowstone, a bunch of that. There's some, okay, and then here comes some of that other stuff that we had set to go. Sort of one of the first things we set up. That stuff's coming through the pipe now. And then it looks like a bunch of dirt, which is going to be new material. So Interestingly enough, I did just want to point out that it doesn't appear to be increasing. You can see it's 39 times 64 plus 53. I just pulled out a stack and it went up. That's because it doesn't, apparently the factorization barrels don't quite play nice with the Buildcraft pipes. The stuff is going in there, but it's just not showing us the total until we actually take a look at it and click on it. So it is working, no worries. It's just not as seamless as I would prefer. So yeah, cool. So the input of the system seems to be working. There's obviously, like I said, there's a few things that are not accounted for, but that'll be fixed down the line. So let me clip the video, take a minute to think about how I want to do outputs on this system, and hopefully we'll be able to get some of this stuff to where it needs to go. So I'll be back in a few. Alright, I'm back, and unfortunately it's looking like we're about at the 30-minute mark, but I definitely wanted to show you guys this, as this is definitely where we're going to be picking up next episode. Basically what I did was I moved one of my powered furnaces that I made from over here, and I made another one. So basically, you'll notice whenever we pulverize things over here in our pulverizers, occasionally we get another output, a yellow output. And I basically had the yellow outputs go down into another powered furnace. That way, we should be able to account for everything that these pulverize. And in the way the system is set up, even though it looks like these pipes are connecting to all these machines, you'll see that there is no input on the left side of this powered furnace, so things can't go out that way, and nothing can go into the output slot. So basically it's all getting funneled down this way. This iron pipe is funneling all this stuff that way, where hopefully we'll be able to work out a place to put a chest for all our metal goods. So pretty much as soon as we figure that out, our metal processing should be pretty much figured out. The only other things that really we need to do is work on this side, basically our sand and our flint and our wood, to get those back into chests. And I'll probably off camera sort my chests out up there because they're kind of a mess at the moment, but yeah. So pretty much as it is working, we're pretty much accounting for almost everything we're getting at this point. We got all our ore processing, we got all our miscellaneous stuff headed down that way, and so all we really need to do after this is basically figure out, okay, how are we going to get our sand over to our peat bog, which shouldn't be too difficult. I should be able to do that with a diamond pipe to sort of send some of it into our chest and some of it over that way. So that's probably what we're going to get into next episode. Is I'm going to try to wrap up this whole system and hopefully get ready to move on to new things after that. So yeah, so this has been DarkDragoon's FTB Modpack Let's Play episode 16. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next episode. Catch you later.